Hey everyone. Um so I'm sorry, I'm just taking space even though I'm not supposed to. I'm just feeling very constricted I'm feeling very I just need space away from people. I really do. Instead of getting upset and just getting really angry and up at people, I just can't I wish I could have I wish I could, have an hour in the office just doing what I have to do. My mom knows that I always keep up with my laundry by putting it away and everything like that, and I do the dishes for her. I put them in the dishwasher as I'm supposed to. I do a lot of what she says, what she asks of me. Because the things we ask from certain individuals that we know and love aren't always going to be the hardest of things at all. You're the one that puts in how hard they can be. But I could talk about my situation. I could talk about people all day, but it's not going to get me anywhere. Where I'm in the office right now, this is like my safe haven. This is more of my meditation spot. It's my controlled environment. It's where I come in and try to relax, not overreact. I've got my phone in the drawer. I'm not tempted to text or call anybody. I'm not going to do that at all after May hits. I'm taking the 5 years after May. But 5 years of being sober of your texting and calling addiction is well worth it. And it might even clear up my name of being labeled of someone who I'm not. In a lot of Western movies, when you commit a crime or a relentless act of violence, you shoot somebody. The reality of it is you're going to have a bounty on your head. And if you don't pay that bounty, you're either going to get shot or you're going to jail. But I'm currently done with a song I worked on with Zohar a while ago called Open Sky Blues. And that song was actually inspired because I remember I had approached my mom about this before her stroke. I said, Mom, is there a title you can think of when you think of blues music? What is a title that comes to you? And she says to me, Open Sky Blues or something with an open sky. But the song lyrically talks about a cowboy begging to get off the roster of being a bounty, of being a wanted. But the song truthfully doesn't have anything to do with being alone, but it has to do with not being free, lacking, and just obviously. And I don't just always walk away from situations, I talk through them. Here's what I want to do. Can I break? But when you live with two people, it's very hard. I mean, my dad, I feel like, gives me way more freedom at home than my mom does. And I'm not saying this standpoint that I don't help my mother. I help her out a lot. I help her if she's got a load of clothes to bring up or I need to wash. She knows I do that. And I know how to do that stuff. So even if she were to move out, or my dad for that matter were to move out, I would be able to do all of that. But I function alone, typically. And a lot of the times, if she's at her appointments, I will surprise her by vacuuming the house. It takes a good son to be a good son. But like females, men also need space. People in general need space, but it's always good to communicate that. That's what you have to do before you walk away from something. But if that person is not listening to that or following that instruction, and I don't want to yell at my mother, I can't. If I yell at somebody, it doesn't feel good. I think for most anybody, yelling is not the correct way of expressing how you feel. It will set that person off by being emotional. But I've always wanted more free time of since I might be hopefully picking up gigs in Freiburg. I just need to contact Leo. But my mom says, she has no control over what she does, and I disagree on that. I disagree way more than most people because I've seen her go through less worse things than her stroke, but I've lost count how many bowel obstructions she's had. I would say close to 8 or 9. But this was all within like months. I would say I think it it wasn't a whole year, but she kept getting them. And bowel obstructions unfortunately suck because, it's food that's trapped in your system that is not going down into your system. So it's kind of blocking what's going on internally. It prevents you from using the bathroom and stuff like that. But I will say the first one she actually it was really and it's because bowel obstructions, another thing about them is that sometimes it actually results in what you put in your body that what is that really is what causes them. But I know from my mom, she could, those things that would cause it usually were green vegetables like broccoli, spinach, lettuce, kale. I know one of the bowel obstructions she had, I think this was either the second or first bowel obstruction, but we had ordered Chinese food that night. And I remember she had we had ordered over Long River, which is a Chinese restaurant in Freiburg, and she had ordered the chicken and broccoli. Um and she ate it all, but then something started to flare up. She started to get these non-relief stomach pain, and then it led to her going and attempting to use the bathroom a lot throughout the night, throughout during the next morning. But she didn't know what it was. She was very much scared. So I remember the doctor told her that she was having a bowel obstruction, which is a blockage of what food goes down. But it's basically, if you were to put a cork into a wine or a wine bottle, you won't be able the wine won't come out unless you pop off the cork. So for the doctors, they had to use some sort of tube mechanism to flush out the food that she couldn't digest. And that's a pain when bowel obstructions come along like that. Doctors have to insert this tube down your throat into your stomach and clear up all the food that couldn't pass. But in total, she's had about 9 of them that I can count. And as I said, they all followed pretty close to each other. The second one so as I said, this is where like the greens for her were the really, because the second visit back to the hospital when she had her second bowel obstruction was also due to a green vegetable. But that day she had it in liquid form. She had a kale smoothie. And kale is a green vegetable. Um, but the kale smoothie, I was scared at this point. I said, "You had a bowel obstruction before, month prior to the kale smoothie," but she's like, "I'm all better now." And she had another one. That was her second one. But I know there's been like the thing is bowel obstructions for her, she would have to spend a couple days in the hospital. Probably 1 to 2 days max. There could have been a couple times where she spent 3 nights, but I just remember too from how often she would go. And before they released her, they made sure obviously, when you have a bowel obstruction, they need to make sure that, whoever is having one can digest food, and and properly how it exits the body. But this woman, and actually Mother's Day is coming up in May. But this woman is incredibly strong. She really is. And for a lot of reasons, I understand she wants help with things, and I try my best to be there. But a lot of people do know that I haven't had the best of life either, and it has nothing to do with me abuse or neglect. It has to do more with connection. And I'm very much lucky, and that's the thing. A lot of the what the bowel obstructions did to my mom, this woman has been through hell. I mean, what was it? Back in 2022, this wasn't when I was in high school. She was diagnosed with cancer, something lymphoma, but pancreas lymphoma or something like that. But she was sick. She was sick. The chemo. I will say the most tired. I mean, this is something a lot of people have asked me. When was a time in your life your mom was the most tiredest? My answer is always going to be after her chemo treatments. And I would say now too, but it was more consistent after her chemo treatments. But every time she came home, she would nap, and she would nap throughout the day. But that's what chemo does. It will drag you into being tired, fatigue. And a lot of people can relate to cancer. The chemo and possibly the symptoms of the cancer are what makes you tired, but the chemo is the workout. The chemo treatments, that is. Because not only that, but chemo treatments, can be things you may not want to hear, and they get more emotional over time. But many of those who think that a child, you know, has to be hard on their family for them to listen. I'm one of the most nicest people on planet Earth. I may not consider myself nice. I mean, I always make a fair attempt to be nice and to be open-minded, thinking about what is not just best for myself, but what is best for who I live with and how I treat them. And it's the same way of those who I don't live with. It's the same deal. It might be hard living with somebody and you disagree on things. You might as well take a couple losses while you're at it and just compromise on what you can do better, and that person can compromise on what they can do better. It's not a fucking turf war off who's better, who's not better, vice versa. And if things happen to be an addiction, I felt so ashamed, and I felt pretty. I beat myself up on Sunday because I thought about the word is habit. But no, habits, when they happen, and they happen long enough to an extent, it comes as an addiction. But note that everybody can feel something, whether it's bigger than yourself or it's less than yourself. Make every day count. Make what matters most to you valuable. That could be a person, a group of people. If you're in a relationship with someone, but I try my absolute best as somebody who lives with my parents is never, ever yell and tell them to leave me alone. Even though parents do tolerate that behavior, I would not if I was a father. I would say if you can talk to your mom like that, you're not. I mean, the thing is, I would be more strict. I'd say you are not gonna you are not gonna treat anybody in this house that way. But when you show signs of bad behavior, which I never caught myself, is punishing yourself. That's what I found in my that's what I find of what I do when I feel constricted. I have to lock myself somewhere and do something. Read a book, play a video game, restring my guitar. But if people invade that space, they're crossing a line. And I often am smart before I even state that I'm going to be alone. I say, "Hey, I need time for myself." And not just that, but my mom actually picks up on that pretty quickly. I mean, just obviously the video I did earlier, she was in here telling me to get up. She wanted me to go outside and get her laundry rack from the garden shed, so I did that. But I also was sidetracked because Thor went over across the road, not listening as he does, being very pig headed. But when you also have kids, I mean, your distraction, or not so much your distraction, but your focus is scattered. Because I was out there getting the laundry rack for my mom to hang some clothes outside. I've gone through many phases in my life that aren't healthy. I've gone through many phases where I didn't feel like it was healthy. And those were rare times I actually caught myself that I was doing things that weren't healthy. And a big one was eating. Eating whatever your heart desires. Because it can hurt you or it can help you. But walking for me is one of the things I do a lot of. getting out and stretching my legs when I feel cramped inside, moving around, walking down the road. I even encouraged my mom that we could take Thor to the fairgrounds and let him run, even though they have a leash law. The thing, Thor listens there really well, and we trained him. So this is where Thor's smarts, his smart and intelligent brain comes in handy. So we take him. So obviously we take him in the second parking lot where all of like the RVs park, you know, when the fair comes. And there's like a ticket booth there as well for park, or actually for admission, but we'll park the car right there at the gate, and I'll take Thor out on the leash, and he knows when I unhook him, we have to be at least a foot, maybe 2 feet away from that ticket booth. As long as we're like 2 feet away from the road, that dog does not go into the road. He goes right down and runs. I always kind of like stay behind though in case but there hasn't been cases of him running in the road at all. And then I mean, and this is a long paved like stretch. I mean, it goes from like what is it, the gate all the way down, and it obviously curves around the whole fairgrounds. And there's trails you can take that split off too. Sometimes I'll even take them in that open area where the campers park. It's like a big open field with hills, and we've ran in those in that field a lot. But whenever we walk back to the truck, he stops by the ticket booth. But he knows that's his stopping point where I have to leash him because he knows the rules. He cannot go past that ticket booth without being leashed. But it's all in. Actually, I gotta get something to eat, so I might do. I know I'm slacking on these strings, but what I'll do is I'll take them out, but I'm not gonna like undo them, not until we're ready to do it. But I actually want to see what these look like. But let's crack them open. I ordered a bunch, so I have another pack that I'm probably not going to use for my other guitar. I might save those um in case, something happens to one of these strings, I can replace it. Actually, they don't really give you a good of a. There we go. Come on. Alright, so as I said, this is number 48. So obviously we're going to go thick to thick. So this is going to be our thick string. Yep. So we got a 48, 38, 28, 18, a 14, and an 11. So, yeah, we have these all packaged. I'm going to throw the trash away. I don't think it indicates. Actually, we will know because the 48 is our thicker string. So, and what I like to do, so another thing I'm going to point out is that when you are doing this row, I mean, different guitars have the what is it, the fret nuts or whatever they're called. I don't know if I have one. No, but some guitars will have all the tuning knobs on one side if there's room. Others will have like they'll divide it by three. Like what is it? E through D will be on this side here, and then G through E4 will be on the bottom. And it doesn't matter, the thing is I've heard many people state that strings, you can count these one to what is it, 1 to 6, no problem. I mean, but since we have the fretboard cleaned, I'm feeling good that we can attach these, but I'm gonna go get a bite to eat. Actually, you know what? Maybe it would be good. Actually, what I'm gonna do, these definitely should fit. These are, yeah, they will, which is good. So this guy is gonna be our first one to put on. And only if I can find the tune winder. I do have one. But yeah, here is the cloth, and we have the winder, I think, in here somewhere. The polish is in there. All right. Yeah, we're gonna make this guy look nice and shiny. Nice and shiny as well. Oh my gosh, Tom, you gotta be so careful with that. Oh my gosh, you look so delicious. I mean, you don't look delicious. All right. Slip the bridge back on. Bam. Oh, wait. Wrong way. Nope. We had it right. I don't think we need the winder, but but I just I'm just gonna state this that in order for me to end the live, I need to tell the mothers in my life that I love them a lot. And this is what I call a really great addiction. The addiction of loving the moms in your life. One is my mom, one of the strongest people that I know. Strong, I would say through sickness and really going through what she had to go through, she kept strong, she kept that strength, and she kept that barrier within her personal life and what she had to deal with medically. But she also was very scared. And I don't blame her. That, I mean, but the other mother I would like to I would like to say very thank you of is the mother that actually noticed on Saturday of my constant texting. She was the one that stated it was an addiction. It turned into an addiction. If I had only stopped earlier when she tells me stop, it would have been just a habit. But she's always been in my life. Not always, but and Mother's Day is in May. May 7th, I believe. No, dude, that's your brother's birthday. Get it right. I think Mother's Day is May 10th or May 11th, or is it May 12th? May 7th is Andrew's birthday. I should know that. See, again, like, all right. Let's see if you fit Girl Scout. Yeah, we can still manage that. Oh, the bridge is just right there. Actually, that should stay. Yeah, oh, that's right. It goes down too. So once we get it under control, it's a very thick string though. You can see how like it's I don't know if it's a baritone if the black are like because they come bigger in size, but what we know now is these guys are going to be through the back. Oh, mother citrus. Okay. Actually, yeah, I'm going to turn this right around. There we go. Oh, that is very tough. Actually, you just wiggle it, and it's not bad. Hang on. Let's get that out. There we go. I actually just want to get it so it's we're just gonna so what we're gonna do That's how it goes, right? Whoops, no. So yeah, it's gonna go like that. Come on. Alright, so I think we can let go. Shoot, come on. And I'm gonna lock it, I think. But yeah, we're gonna cut it off here. Come on. There we go. This guy's on. Actually, you know what? We might even be able to cut. Come on. There we go. Boom. All right. Cool. The tune winder's a lot faster to use though, because then once you get the string on and you start to wrap the string around the. Actually, if you wanted to do it like so, the winder actually helps you wrap the string. So I'm gonna go find my winder. But I'm gonna end my live. I'm gonna go get a bite to eat, and I'll be back on, guys.